So we were, or maybe are, potentially going to start combining today. But the weather isn't great. They've got another ½ inch of rain in the forecast for later today, which we were going to actually start last week Monday, but then it pretty much just rained all week, even though we haven't had rain all year, which I guess that kind of tracks. So now I don't really know if we're going to start today, but what we need to do today is we got to get the combines, all the headers down to the main yard because we're going to start at that side of the farm. So I'm going to fuel up this combine. My brother's going to be here in half an hour or an hour, and we'll kind of get things ready. And then we're going to convoy down to the main yard and then just kind of make sure that all the ducks are in a row so that when we have the opportunity to get combining, we can hit it hard. That rain last week kind of saved my butt because there were still a bunch of odds and ends that I needed to do, including one bogey on this combine. I went through this combine a month ago, walked by it the other day, and all the oil had leaked out of a bogey, so we changed the bearings and the seals in that. So that last week kind of allowed me to catch up on a bunch of little things. I cleaned the shop over the weekend, got the fuel trailer gone over, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. We're going to quickly fuel this thing up, pull the fuel trailer out, pull the combine out, get things hooked up, and ready to rock. And man, I tell you, simply upgrading from like a 90s combine or early 2000s combine to something built like 2005 or later, there are so many little just benefits in general that it really makes it worth getting a bigger or newer combine if it's not necessarily even bigger, because this combine roads faster, it hooks up quicker, we can pull the trailers behind it. Just so many benefits that makes everyone's life just so much better. And in harvest, that's big because, I mean, first couple days of harvest, everyone's starting off really high, but then month or two in, you're like, holy smokes, we got to do this again? Wow. But anyways, it's my rant for now, I guess. Let's get this thing fueled up. I do really like this fuel trailer. I wouldn't necessarily do it like this again because I built this compartment, I spec'd it all out, I did everything the way I wanted to, but I mean, because it's all custom, there isn't much resale value, which that's something that me and my brother try to think about because we always plan on selling stuff so that we can maximize our money, but whatever. It works so good. This trailer is really set up for speed when it comes to fueling, because we would spend 3 hours a day in the morning running back and forth, getting fuel, fueling things up. Whereas now this thing pumps at 80 gallons per minute. I can fill a combine in 5 minutes. I've got a 50-foot hose. I can reach 3 pieces of equipment without moving the trailer, and it holds 1,000 gallons of diesel. So it's like, instead of spending 3 hours, it's a half an hour. Everything is good to go. And I've got all my service stuff in the service body side of the trailer. And it's just really well set up. And it makes my life way easier in harvest, which I love. So I think I got enough hose out of there. We'll fire this thing up and get pumping. It is simply a 2-inch Honda water pump. Well, really well. I'm not pumping full speed, but this is way better than 20 gallons per minute out of an electric pump. I like it a lot. The crazy thing with this setup is that the most expensive part was the hose reel and the hose, totaling like $3,500, which is more than we bought the whole trailer for, but it just makes life so good having all that reach. And the 2-inch hose allows us to have a lot of flow, and we're going to a 1-inch high-speed nozzle that caps the whole capacity of the system at 80 gallons per minute. But it's so good, so I really like it. Here we go, we got that thing fueled up. We're gonna move the fuel trailer out of the way, park it over here back by our tank, because then it's always parked by the tank so we can fill it, because We'll try to keep as little in the trailer as we need, but we'll keep a day's worth for sure. And we'll pull out the combine, do a couple little things, start getting things hooked up. So it's all coming together. We'll be on the road soon. Kind of excited. Start of harvest is always exciting, and then it gets old pretty quick. But it's like a drug. So here we go. Time to get addicted. As you can tell, it's still sitting on the blocks from when I did the bogey wheel. So now we have to fold in our ladder and we'll back it out. And the shop door is honestly just wide enough. Like, I'm talking 3 inches on either side. But hey, that's all I need. So we got to put a couple things in here. I got some parts there for the other one. I got the manuals. We'll get that all put in here, back this thing out, and get ready to roll. So Andrew's in my dad's combine now. We got the pickup header on it. We're gonna hook up to his flex head, and then we gotta hook up my pickup header and flex header to mine. But these things are sweet because being able to tow your own header, it just saves so much time, and they go fast. So I'm a big fan of these combines and everything that has to do with them. All right, now we got to get this thing hooked up. All right, now we just need to get the pickup header thrown on my combine, which is in the front there. And then we'll be heading out to the main yard, which, yeah, it's exciting. Hopefully we can get this thing going here soon. So unfortunately, when I parked our header right there in the grass, things were extremely dry. And now we got in a couple inches of rain last week, and I have to get that header because we need to bring it in because we swath oats. So hopefully I don't make too big a mess. We'll quickly unhook the header that I'm dragging behind me, hook up to the pickup header, and then we'll be on our way. We are ready to get moving down to the main yard. Yeah, I guess it'll be a good test, see how things go. I don't suspect any problems. I've gone through them pretty well. So let's head out. Man, does a couple mile an hour ever make a difference? So we're going 19 mile an hour, and our old combines would go 15. And it doesn't sound like a lot to most people, but that is huge in the equipment game. So we're making good progress. Andrew is behind me. I'm gonna get him to pass me here soon, and so then I can follow him for a little bit. But we're making good progress, although it is starting to spit. So if it keeps that up a bit more, I think that's gonna rule today a no-go for starting harvest. But we'll see, because things can change a couple miles down the road. Maybe it's raining here and it's not at the main yard where we're gonna start. So I guess here's holding out hope, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So 2 years ago, I put some bumping speakers in this combine. I was like, if I'm gonna live in here for 3 months, I wanna be able to play some tunes, keep me awake, that sort of thing. And I put them in there and they sounded awful, just terrible. And I was like, come on, and I couldn't figure it out. And last year I was looking at it when I was working on it pre-harvest, and I noticed all the wires for the speakers, like, they were still connected, but the mice had got into them, and I figured, hey, that's probably the issue, because the speakers I'm using are drawing more power and there's just extra resistance on the wires, and it's just choppy, whatever. And last year, I mean, I never got to it, didn't have time, it wasn't that important, still isn't that important. But this year I made a point to you know, try and get that done. So I rewired the speakers, and man, do they bump. Those things are cranking now, which is awesome. So we'll be able to enjoy our tunes in here now. We're driving by a couple more of our fields. Here's my dad's sunflowers, and this one isn't ours, but that next half is. But we are quickly running out of the easy, enjoyable part of the drive, where we just take the gravel roads for 15 miles. Now soon we're gonna get on the highway, and then we're gonna get on the perimeter and have to deal with a lot of traffic. We're pretty used to that, and we have a spotter vehicle behind us, so you know, we do it as safe as we can, but there's a bunch of wild cards when you add a bunch of people who don't necessarily know how to behave around equipment. All right, so before we hop on the highway here, highway's hard on tracks, and it's the first trip of the year anyways, so we're just checking things out. You really want to make sure that you're not building up heat, and we've been roading full speed, so my tracks are nice and cool. They've always run cool since I aligned them the first year we got them. We're just going to check some bearings and make sure everything's good to go, because if not, then I have some time to address things before we really start the season. But I think things are doing well. How's it feeling?
Everything feels cool. Tracks are cool, bearings are cool, tires are cool.
Good. I think mine's the same way. Yours are good on both sides?
Yeah, I checked them both. Yep.
Good, because I aligned them last year. All right, things look good on his machine. Things are looking good on mine. I think we're gonna get back on the road. I'm just gonna quickly check my trailer here. We changed the wheel bearings on this over winter because we lost our cap. So, hey, you can never be too safe. And now we are hitting the highway. Oh man, there's a car right there. I want to stay tight with my brother, but I guess I gotta wait for this guy. And then we'll try and catch up pretty quick. Let's go! Not full throttle yet, bud. Alright. On the road, ready to rock. Next, we get to Deacon's Corner, which is a super busy corner on the number 1 and 207. Then we'll be crossing the floodway and heading to the perimeter. Now we are on the number 1 highway across Canada, and we're heading into the city because the main yard is inside the perimeter. And I don't know, once we get there, I guess we'll come up with a game plan of what today will look like. Like I said, it's not looking promising for getting going, but hey, if we can kind of get set up so that when we have that window, we can hit it hard, because I'm starting to feel like we are behind. A week ago, we were right on the edge of pushing it. Then it started to rain. And now everything is going to be ready at once, because we got everything seeded in 12 days. So that doesn't give us a whole lot of breaks in between crops. But if we can hit the cereals hard, get those pounded out, maybe we can have some time between beans or sunflowers, or just get it all done really early, which would be nice. But it's looking like it's going to be a wet harvest, and that is always challenging. Thankfully, we have tracks and 4-wheel drive on the combines, and our grain carts and grain cart tractors on tracks, so tracks definitely help things out a lot. All right, so I think we've come to the decision that we are not starting harvest today. I guess there's still a chance, because we don't know what's going to happen, but it's likely not going to happen today. Maybe it'll start tomorrow, but if we get rain today, we won't go tomorrow, and then there's more rain on Thursday. So in the meantime, I need to get our new yield monitors calibrated and set up. So I'm updating the tablets, and now I need to run the machines, calibrate the sensors. But I'm going to walk out to the north piece here, check the dirt. Hopefully it's not muddy, then I can bring the combines out, drop the headers so they're here, and then we need to start working on our sunflower headers, because those are the only headers we haven't touched yet. We've got a 30-foot pan header, me and my brother, and then we want to get another header going. So my dad's got a couple 853A headers that he has for his New Hollands, so we will adapt those and get one of them going for his machine, And then he can just start taking rows, doing headlands, that sort of thing, and the pan header can just kind of run the body of the field. But a second machine of sunflowers would be really nice. So we're quickly going to take a look. Hopefully we can unhook some things and get going on those headers. So that's our sunflower header, and I think it came off of a flagship case combine, something like that. I adapted it over and it fits our combine now. I had to throw a hydraulic bank on it as well, just because of the way that the hydraulics work on these combines. So we're gonna hook up to that. I think quickly first we will calibrate our yield monitor though, and do the sensor calibration. We'll see what is all involved. So, start calibration. Optical sensors installed, harvester on and stationary, threshing clutch at full throttle, harvester is empty of grain. Alright, we'll get this thing fired up. Check all the boxes. And then once this thing's fully engaged, we'll go full throttle. Just like that, and we are ready. So now it's just picking up where the paddles are in the grain elevator and doing its thing. So this header, it's a bit of an oddball. It's a Capello Helianthus 9400 pan header, dedicated pan header. So it's got some benefits to like a converted header with adjustable reel. It's got that reel deflector and all those sort of things, but it's had its issues. I think we kind of worked through them in the first year, I'm hoping. And hopefully this year things will go smoother. But for what it does, I'm really pretty pleased with it, but it could be a lot better. But I could also spend, you know, 80 grand on a sunflower header instead of 17. So I'm not too upset, and I think this year I kind of know what we need to do to make it function properly for us. So hopefully this header doesn't need too much work. A few things I got to do is obviously we got to grease it. We're going to pull the knife drive out, check the knives, and then a big thing that we had issues with is these header points. You can see these ones are way lower than the rest of them, especially on the ends, and I found out, well, that you want the points to be the same spot as these ones. So we got to lower all those points down so that they're evenly in a row. And I think that'll help take care of our bunching up issue on the corners. And we added these serrated pieces to this reel because it's got these plastic ones, but they're absolute trash, and if there's buildup they break or whatever, garbage. I tried making metal ones, they didn't break, they would just bend. So those steel points were the play. And then we just need to check our auger. Had a tendency to just snap right in half, right in the middle. I put a ton of welds and reinforcements on it, so it did the last couple hundred acres pretty well. We're just gonna check that over, and then should be good. Oh, also we need to fix these door panels because, well, that one fell off and this one doesn't like to stay closed, so I got to make some sort of latch there. But all in all, I don't think it'll take much work because this is a fairly simple header. We're making progress on the sunflower header. I greased it, I checked the bearings, everything looks good. I figured it wouldn't take much, but adjusting the points is gonna take a while because we got to adjust every single one. When we bought it, the points didn't match the ends, and I leveled them at that point, and I should have just made them all the same. So now we're doing it properly, and it's not terribly hard, but you just come under here and these are your adjustments for every point. Then you just loosen them off, tighten them up, whatever you have to do to make them line up, and we'll match them up to that string and should be good. I'm working on my combine header, and my brother, well, he got the 853A in the combine. It's been hooked up to for 3 years. He got it up here, so now there's a lot of work that needs to be done to it. These things are old and complicated, and I hate them, but they do a pretty good job, so we'll make do. But we're gonna get that thing up here so that if it rains, it's in the yard and I can work on it. And man, do I ever not miss these TR96s, or TRs in general. They don't hold up at all compared to this thing. But that's good to have it up here, and we'll be able to work on it when we have time. Well, thankfully I'm underneath the header here working because it's starting to rain. So of course, no rain all year, but when we want to harvest, let's get it all. Thankfully we have beans and sunflowers, so they might be able to take advantage of some of this, but
Yeah.
a little bit too late. But anyways, now I think we're gonna head home, and this troll's gonna take me back because we took the combines here. And we can finish this up tomorrow. In the spirit of trying to get things ready for when we start harvesting, I was worried about the driveline angle on this auger, and so I measured all the points from there to there to there to there to there to there, and it's all within spec, so we didn't actually have to change anything. I thought we were gonna have to move this hitch out, but it all looks good. So we double checked and made sure that the auger is gonna run right, so that's done and off the list. And now I just put this motor on this unload for this auger. We have a 3 horsepower on that one, and we only had 1 for these 4 bins, and we were always moving it back and forth. So now we've got 2 for it, and we're trying out this 5 horsepower. It is a Princess Auto Special, but I'm a huge believer in their warranty and return policy, so it's cheaper and they warranty stuff really well, so I figured it's worth a shot. So we got this wired up, pulley put on and mounted. And the last thing kind of on the to-do list is we also only had 2 fans for these 4 bins. And that sucked because we were always moving fans around, and at some points we're going to have all these bins full and we're going to need fans on them all. So we are mounting our fans. We've mounted a 3rd one already, and it is time for the last fan to go on. So, hey, I mean, things are shaping up well. I got my last fan there. Started working on the sunflower headers today. So all in all, I'm really happy with where we are heading into harvest. And on a maintenance and equipment perspective, I'm feeling pretty good about it. So that's awesome. That's a big win, because oftentimes it's still crunch time and we're going over stuff. So tomorrow we'll probably finish up our sunflower header and then start on the other one. But that's kind of where we're at. Sucks that we got rained out, but it is what it is. It's kind of been on and off spitting all day. Not a whole lot of moisture, but just enough to keep us out of the field. Anyways, that's it for today. And hopefully next time you see me, we'll be starting harvest, which that'll be a good time. So thanks for watching, and subscribe and like if you're enjoying this and want to see more. You guys have a good one.